We are here and we are strong. Let's be counted as we move on. Make a difference, change lives as we tell our different stories. We are capable, beautiful. We are born to do great things. We're unstoppable, incredible, 'cause we're differently abled, differently.
Hello there, and a warm welcome on Able Differently, where we take charge. Parents and caregivers of children with disabilities go out of their way to just make sure they give their children the best upbringing. In today's episode, we feature parents who have defied all odds to do just that. Stay tuned. I'm your host, Jane Theory.
'Cause we're differently abled, differently.
Isaac noticed a delayed speech in his daughter when she was only 3 years old. This prompted him to seek medical assistance where she was diagnosed with autism. Take a look at that story.
Isaac Mushina is the father to Rose Wakonyo, an 11-year-old who is the firstborn in a family of 3 children.
My name is Isaac Mushina. I'm a father of one girl and 2 boys. The girl is the firstborn. She's called Rose Wakonyo. And the boy is Ryan and Philip.
Isaac noticed that Rose could not speak anything at the age of 3 and thought that she was a bit slow, but her speech was delaying. They visited a consultant, and after a few tests were done, she was diagnosed with autism at the age of 3 years.
First, to start, how we discovered this at an early age of 3 years, I started realizing that something is off. Because at 3 years, you would expect a child to start speaking. At least she knows some few words like mom, dad, and all that. And that didn't happen with our daughter. So as time went by, I thought maybe she was a bit slow, and maybe one day she's going to start speaking. But that didn't happen. So finally, we went to a consultant, and our daughter, after some few tests, was diagnosed with autism.
Mother says she had to use a special diet that is both sugar and gluten-free. Her grandmother added that since she is the one who spent more time with Rose, they could take her for occupational and speech therapy, but did not help her much to gain her speech.
With Konyo, she was hyperactive. I could go with her to church, and you couldn't control her. She was everywhere. She was at the altar, she was outside. It was like a workout going with her outside. So I realized there were a lot of things that was doing wrong in terms of her diet. So she was on a lot of sugary things, also gluten, bread, cakes, and everything. So the diet that she's on right now is purely gluten-free. Gluten-free. It's something that heals more of the gut. It's something that was introduced to me by my friend Wambeti. She shared with me a book that talked more of a dietary intervention into autism.
Rose was taken to Sacco School, where the owner of the school had accepted and accommodated children with disabilities.
We realized that the teacher we have hired to teach her in our own house is not getting along with the girl, and she's being left here alone, and that also because she was used, as I said earlier, these people follow a certain routine. If you disrupt that routine, of course they react badly. So because she was used to go to school every morning, when that routine was disrupted, it became a problem. So finally, we looked for another school, and we found another school, although a bit expensive. It's called Sacco, and that's where she is now. I'm happy. The owner of that school is so much dedicated with the kids that even when now that the schools are closed, she said she can't live without those children. And now we have an arrangement that they are going from Monday to Thursday from 9 p.m. to 1 p.m. because the teacher is so much, the owner of the school is so much dedicated with these children with autism.
Isaac, who is a businessman, was affected so much during the corona pandemic. His business was hit and was struggling financially. He also suffered from corona together with his wife and had to leave the children with their grandmother for a period of time.
I'm self-employed. I do my own businesses, and they have had a lot of hit from COVID-19, being on the hospitality industry. So I can see it is a big challenge for us, or financially, and also also mentally, because we are also affected at one time by COVID in this house, me and the mom, and we had to live for some period without seeing our children. So we had to take them to our grandmother's place, and we were alone here, the two of us, self-isolating. Yeah, so it has been a challenge both financially and mentally.
The fact that her daughter cannot speak and she is not able to respond to anyone is a big challenge, since her parents may not be aware when something happens to her.
The kind of relationship you would have with a normal child is not the same with a child who is autistic. Because this is a child, the child cannot speak back to you. You cannot give her instruction, do this and do this. Now, even if she is sick, she can't say that I'm feeling this way. So it's like you have a child who is very slow in growing up. And that becomes a challenge because she needs a lot of care. She needs a lot of care. And even when now that she's 11, you need the other problems crop up because now she's big enough. There are men around, and you don't know what could happen to your child in terms of security when she's going out or she's around the compound. You have to have somebody checking on her every time.
Isaac says he would want to do the best for her daughter and could be proud to see her be independent in the future and able to live her own life.
That what motivates me is that I would want to do the best for her, and in future I would like to look back and say maybe I didn't hold anything back to make her life better. I would be proud if she is able to be independent, be able to live on her own. That's what motivates me, to give that all that I can do so that she can have a normal life.
What motivates me is just seeing her grow with her challenge. My daughter cannot speak. She still cannot speak. She's pretty much non-verbal. But even with that challenge, she's able to navigate through everything in life. Yeah. Just last year she started using a mobile phone. So if I give her my phone, she's able to get into YouTube, and because she really loves baking cakes and everything, she was actually able to pull up videos concerning cakes and everything. And I was like, how? I've not even showed her. Yeah, that really just makes me want to, it motivates me to want to learn so much more about her. And also it gives me the drive to just keep on helping her in any way that I can.
Nekesa, the house help, says she enjoys helping Rose do a lot of activities, like when she is dressing, when cooking, and even when she is playing.
Rose akiwa ameamka, most of the time yeye hujiamsha, lakini yeye pia huenda shule, na wakati wa kwenda shule mimi humwamsha. So akiamka yeye asubuhi na anaanza kwa kutandika kitanda chake yeye mwenyewe, anajua kutandika. So atatengeneza kitanda chake vizuri. Tukishatoka kule atakuja kukula chakula chake cha asubuhi. So akishamaliza kukula chakula cha asubuhi, namchukua tunaenda kwa bafu, anaoga. anajiandaa. Tukishatoka huko mwenyewe hujiosha by the way.
So hizi vitu zote ni yana.
Yeye hujifanyia.
Wewe ni kumguide tu.
Mimi ni kumguide tu. Breakfast yeye atapata nikiwa nishamwandalia kiko tayari. So akishatoka hapo ataenda ajioshe mwenyewe tu. Twende kwa room yake, akifika na kule atajivalisha nguo, ataanza kujipaka mafuta. Obvious mama yake amemnunulia tu vitu tuzuri, tu perfume. Atachukua ajipake, anapenda. Kwanza yeye upenda ile inanukia poa.
He advises those parents that have children with disabilities, especially the fathers, to accept, take care of them, and help them be independent.
Those people who run from their responsibilities, it's not the right thing to do. What I would say is to encourage them to take care of these children, because they need to put themselves in the children's shoes. Yeah, if you are born with a disability, or even when you're old like me, you never know what can happen. I can be involved in an accident and I become disabled. Would I want to be treated or to be sidelined? Yeah. So I would encourage them to love these children, to take care of them, and it's a blessing. It's a blessing. God cannot give you a challenge that you can't handle. Yeah. So it's a blessing to have these children and take care of them, and try to help them to become independent.
Isaac feels that the government should develop schools for children with special needs and train teachers on how to handle such cases.
I think the government is not doing much in terms of assisting families that are, are affected by this problem. And I think there is a lot of things they can do. For example, establishing schools that with specialists for people with this condition. That could be of much help, so that they can try and help these people be independent and be productive. When so many people are productive, even these who have autism, they can be able to pay taxes and all that, and the government will get something out of what they have invested in those schools.
'Cause we're differently abled, differently.
We take a short break, but we'll be right back with more, so don't go too far.
'Cause we're differently abled.